So we're back onto the Norton tonight. Um, Here are some of the Parkerized parts we did in the last couple days. Some of it came out really nice. I'm really happy. There's a couple of pieces I'll have to reblast and then reparkerize, but no big deal. When you're blasting, like bead blasting these parts, like I have been this week, I bought a bench-mounted bead blaster, and I find that the finish comes out a little bit more level, not as shiny, I think, but I like it. It's easy to use. So, but when you're trying to get some like the CAD plating off, the old CAD plating, when you're blasting it, sometimes it doesn't show as easy. Kind of hides just how the texturing goes. It just hides it. So as soon as you start parkerizing it, it's very apparent. So stuff like this, it's hard to see it in the light, but some of it gets done and some of it doesn't. So we got a few more pieces to get done, but check this out. So there, I've got parts for the Springer, I've got parts for the Magdyno, I got parts for the dampener, the clutch. There's the front spring for the girder. Those are the accessory springs. Here's the pivots, parts for the seat. These came out really nice. I'm really happy with that. Nice and uniform. Headlight mount, front engine mount, rear spring, brake pivot, gas tank mounts, headlight. This is the bottom of that spring. So all kinds of pieces. This is for the transmission. It's a little bit beat up there, but nice finish. So that'll go right on there. I like it. I like the contrast between this piece and this piece. So yeah, that's what we got done. Here's a good example of it not fully parkerized. You can still see some of the silver cad or zinc plating on there. So we'll have to redo that, but not a big deal. Here's another nut. And an extra mount for the Springer. These ones came out really nice. And they're still oily. I wiped them down, but they're still got some oil on them. These are all the spacers, washers for the Springer. So now that I got all the pieces for the Magdyno Parkerized, we're going to reassemble it tonight. So I sent this off a couple years ago and got it rebuilt. New armature, new bearings, etc. I'm trying to remember the guy who was in Toronto, Canada. So got it all set up here. There's a little cork gasket on the inside, stopping any water from going in. So we got that cover on. I didn't tighten it because I might want to rotate it. Here's the base. So I just removed the chrome cover that goes here because this is for a military bike. So I had another one, and I believe this one's an original. You can see a little hole there around the top. I'm going to guess that's for moisture, so we're going to put that at the bottom and then just click it over. I like the look. So then this piece, the gear, there's another gear on the inside here of that. So that gear has to go on there, and then there's a screw that lines up at the top. Just slides together. Then we got this little specific nut that actually goes into the body and holds it in position. Tighten all that up after. Then we've got the base plate, the mounting plate with all 4 screws. These are all parkerized. This used to be rusty. I wiped it off. Still a little bit oily. Pretty sure it goes on this way, but maybe the first time I'm wrong. So we're just gonna slide it. That goes underneath. There's 4 mounting bolts. And it looks like in the past, I'll show you in a second here, it looks like someone's peened it so that these bolts don't come loose. So once I figure I got it in the right position and everything, I guess I'll do the same. So you see how these holes, they're peened. So someone's taken punch and then punched it in between the bolt and the bolt and the plate, and it just expands that area ever so slightly, so it doesn't. It's almost like a lock washer. It just holds it in position so they don't fall out. We've got the 2 small screws all parkerized for the lead. And I was going to show you one thing. So this is an original lead, new wire on it, but it's pretty grungy. So one trick I always use, just like hand cleaner with like that pumice, and just run this all over. I use this on cables, but it cleans up all that dirt and debris that's on there. So like throttle cables, brake cables, speedo cables, you use this and it gets all that dirt off. I'll show you in a second. So the lead's all nice and clean. Small gasket. So that's basically Magdyno assembled. I'm not sure if there's a strap that goes over top of here. There's a bolt here, like a spot for a bolt here and there, and I'll probably have to find that too. But and then I'll have to just tighten everything up. But another piece done, and that just goes right onto the motor here. It kind of slides in to that position. I don't know if you can see that. And then this gear goes on it, chain. Another piece done. We also got more hardware all blasted that we're going to parkerize in the next couple days, hopefully. And there's a bit more motor and transmission components in here. So looking forward to getting that done so we can get the transmission even more finished. Because once we get the frame back from powder coating and the plates and a few other parts, we can install the motor, transmission, and Magdyno right away. So excited about that. So we're in the garage. I got my two Norton 16-inch frames here, and we're gonna cut off the bad frame, the gas tank mount, so we can weld it onto the other frame. Now this is a cast piece. I'm not sure how good it's gonna weld. I've had some luck welding cast, but I've never tried a 1940 Norton, so let's give it a shot. So here's the two frames. You can see this one's got both sides of the front gas tank mount, and that one's missing. So we're gonna cut this one off right away. So I'm not sure if you can see, but it's snowing out, and I'm gonna cut in the Manitoba winter outside this 1940 Norton. What I don't do for you guys. I'm not gonna cut it in my garage. I got all my bikes uncovered right now, and it's just not worth it. Snowstorm, sunglasses. Yeah, why not? Well, not a snowstorm, just a little bit of snow. Have it. So I want to make something clear. I would never usually cut off another part of a frame, even though that frame has got some more issues with it than I'd like. But what I was going to do is, replicate this, but I can always fix the second frame. If I ever do a second one, which I doubt, because it's been 10 years working on this one. I don't know if unless I stumbled upon a good assortment of original parts or got another one, then I'd be crazy enough to start another one. But for now, we're building one, and that frame will go up on the shelf there, and the running bike will be on the ground. So this is why I didn't want to grind it in here. I just took all the covers off the bikes a week ago. I had the Antique Motorcycle Club of Manitoba over, and they obviously want to see the bikes, so I uncovered them, and I just never got back to it. So I'm not grinding in my garage, so we cut it outside. So let's get this thing welded up and one more piece done. So last night, after cutting off the mount off the frame, I ended up grinding it out, welding it all up. But my camera, because it's cold out here, the battery just died. So I didn't get any footage of it for you guys, unfortunately. But I'm going to show you what we did. So here's the two frames. That's the original one I cut off. And there it is on that one now. So in the end, that frame is all ready. Did some cleaning up a little bit here on the back frame rail where those was those 2 tabs that someone had brazed on, so I cleaned up all the little bit of brazing left over. And then here's the rear rack, and there was a bunch of little hairline cracks, so I welded them all up and then smoothed them, but I didn't go crazy, even though that's what my normally would be, to like dress them all so that you didn't see any weld or anything. But when you look at all the welds, they're just very crude, nothing smooth, nothing great, from back when they did this originally. So I tried not to clean up the welds too crazy, just so that it looked correct. So now that frame's ready for powder coat. Looking forward to having that sent off. So now we're gonna work on our primary cover. I stripped it last night, and there's a couple little dents we're gonna have to work out. So we've got the outer primary all stripped. It's an unbelievable shape. There's a couple little dings right here, right in this little spot. There's a couple of things we'll have to work out. I thought these were dents, but these are the rivets, because the spot welds, sorry, not the rivets. You can see 2 here, and there's a couple here I had seen right here, and then these 2. The rest of it is like perfect. It's in great shape. A couple little spots. Right on the top, you can see where it's been formed. Well, that's how it was formed. I'm not gonna worry about that. Same with this side. So I'm gonna say that's probably one of the best pieces on this bike. So next on the agenda is taking a look at our hubs and figure out which one we're going to use for one of the wheels. We have the new old stock wheel, which we know that's one we're going to be using, but we need a second. So we're either going to use this black one or this other one here. We also have this hub that we can look at, and another one here. So we got 4 to choose from. Let's start with the black one. That was the one that was on the other rim that we took apart a week or 2 ago. So we got the hub apart and cleaned it out. Not perfectly yet, but so I'm gonna go through the breakdown of what's involved in these hubs. So you can see this side is threaded. That's the retainer, and that just screws in. And once you get to a point where it's tight, you lock that in, as tight as you can. There is a spacer that goes on the other side that goes through and comes out. One thing I noticed on this spacer is there's like a burr on the side. So this will have to be dressed up. It's sharp, like it's been, had some wobble or something where it was actually putting a lot of pressure on the outside edge. Not really sure why, but we'll have to reface that. And then you have your inner bearing, you have your bearing and your inner sleeve. And what you're going to notice is on the secondary bearing, it's twice as wide, or it's wider than the other one. Okay. And then there's a little steel seal, I guess that's what it would be, and then a small retainer. There's nothing on that one side to actually really contain the bearing. So what they do is you can see these 4 pins. So what they'll do is they'll put that outer cover on, and they'll peen it. They'll take a punch and they'll expand the metal over to lock that in. And then with the spacers, that's going to hold all the bearings together. Obviously this one's a double row bearing, so there's bearings on both sides. And what's interesting is there's like a little relief there to enter the bearings into their right on the top. So we're gonna clean these up, check them out. Most likely just replace them. It's a completely different setup than Harley that I'm so used to. I mean, this is like a newer style Harley, has like sealed bearings and stuff like that, so it's very similar. But on the Harleys of this era, it's a bunch of loose roller bearings and shims and stuff. It's quite complicated compared to this. This is really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 components. Very simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to install these bearings into this original wheel, and then I want to put them on the truing stand and just see what it's, just how perfect this wheel is, because this is a new old stock wheel. So I've installed the bearings and I've set up the dial indicator just to see, how far out this new old stock rim is. And we got to remember, this thing's been bouncing around for 80 years. So this is just, just for curiosity's sake more than anything. So as we go around, it looks to be about 50 thou, maybe a bit more of tolerances side to side. And when we go from like up and down, we're looking at about around the 20 to 25. So kind of interesting because, I don't have any tolerances that I'm aware of on the wheel, like what you're allowed for up and down and side to side. On a Harley, it's somewhere around 31, 32 thou up and down side to side. That's what I was told. So, this one is under on the up and down, and it's over on the side to side. Again, these bikes are if this bike does 50 miles an hour or right around there, I'm not going to get into any, you're not going to feel it because you're going so slow. It's when you get into higher speeds that, this stuff really makes a difference, having a rim perfectly trued. So now at least I have some tolerances that we use as a reference off this original rim. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip this rim and I'm going to powder coat the rim, powder coat the hub, and then I'm going to strip all the spokes and I'm going to parkerize them. And what it'll look like is more like this Harley rim, where this one's painted, but you can see the spokes are parkerized. I like the look of that. It's I can do it. I do my own parkerizing, and it's very military. It's very it's a good finish. So that's the look we're going to go for, and we're not going to try and go perfect on this thing. I just want to make a good looking military Norton. It's not going to be correct in years and model and as much as some other people would go. I'm just going to put this together as best I can using the parts I have, and ride it, enjoy it. And again, like my Harley builds, it doesn't really matter to me that if it's, perfect or it's, it's not a points bike. I don't care about that. I just want a bike that I can get on and ride. And that's what's more important for me. So we're kind of running out of things to do on the Norton. We just got to get the frame off for powder coat now and a bunch of the other parts. I got another little box right here of hardware, miscellaneous stuff that I need to strip and then parkerize. I'm going to strip this wheel and lots of cleaning to do, nothing crazy, nothing that I'm going to set up a camera and show you guys me cleaning parts. That's, not what I plan on doing. But so this bike's going to be stalled for a little bit until we get something back from powder coat. Then we can get back to assembly, which will be fun, really fun. My powder coater's getting some samples right now of the different colors and what they can and can't get, and that's where we're at. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed the channel. I hope you enjoyed the videos. Just a regular guy, with a bunch of projects that we're trying to get back on the road. So I'm Keith, Save the Rust. This is who we are. This is what we do. Have a great day.